Hello, today's March 20th, and we're doing business and social stories to start the week. Ryan just clicked on a picture of a guy dancing.
That's Jensen. You don't recognize him?
No.
I think this picture's been shopped. It looks like he's throwing cash.
Is he?
Is that might be Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
It looks like that, yeah.
Anyway, he's out there doing a lot of talks because he is now the CEO of the most valuable company in the universe. And a lot of people want to have him tell their students that are graduating how the world works. And he's got some bad news for them.
Nvidia's boss tells posh grads to lower their expectations. So
As he's wearing his bright green suit jacket and throwing money at the crowd.
These were, I think that's kind of the joke is this was an Ivy League school. I can't remember.
It might have been Stanford.
Well, I was going to say Stanford, but I thought that was a pollution from the last
Stanford
story.
Graduate School of Business.
And he was just saying that, hey, AI is going to make some stuff be different. So maybe don't.
You've already spent all the money to go to school.
He didn't blame AI. He doesn't want to make that association. He's basically just saying, and it's something that we can certainly observe, a life of struggle tends to make you better and happier. Because once you get, it's like my cats, right? My cats have never known any adversity, and they are monsters.
Once you've suffered a lot, it's like, oh, this is pleasant and nice.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying. Is like, hey, you need to suffer. And he actually said, I hope that you have a lot of suffering in your life because it'll make you better.
That's kind of bold, though, like coming from him.
You could read between the lines that he might be sort of setting the stage here for the AI making you useless.
Yeah, that was my takeaway.
Yeah.
But he said that he also joked around the office about the pain and suffering around the office. It's like, oh.
Well, so probably if you're graduating from Stanford, you probably won't end up in this situation that we're going to talk about next. But this is certainly a situation where you could apply some of those lessons, right? Because there's going to be some unpleasantness. Amazon, however, has a different set of advice for how you should deal with that.
Amazon tells warehouse workers to close their eyes and think happy thoughts. Hey, I'm a warehouse worker and I'm not really super happy. That's
I have to
cool.
pee so bad.
Close your eyes and think happy thoughts. You're
My
a warehouse
eyeballs are
worker.
floating.
How long until augmented reality is baked into this so that you see happiness while you're
Like the
thinking
cows
you're
when they would milk them and they did virtual reality headsets. Ugh.
So there seems to be some sort of like pre-work or post-work guided thing going on here.
It's almost
So
like a training module.
you get 10 seconds to close your eyes and think a happy thought to prepare yourself for your Amazon shift.
I can't wait till I'm done with my Amazon shift.
I can't wait until I'm dead so I don't have to do this anymore. It's a little tone deaf.
That's such a low bar. Like, they could have even just done a pizza party, and this is a step below pizza party. The bar is in hell.
Pizza costs money, right?
Yeah, just think happy thoughts.
This costs nothing. This is just, hey, make me a little slide with a timer on it.
But realistically, like, how much longer are these jobs going to exist?
I think that's the idea, right? Let's just keep stringing these people along until we don't need them anymore, which is going to be a couple of years. And one thing that nobody needs anymore, cable television. And the numbers are proving that.
Top cable and satellite companies lose nearly 7 million customers in 2023. Live TV streamers add around 1.9 million. The rest, they're using Plex Media Server or Jellyfin, which is good.
Or they've just stopped watching.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty bad. There's the satellite version, about the same amount.
Now, the good news is that all these companies are going to charge you the same money that you were paying before, but it's going to be just internet.
Oh, well, they're also going to give you a streaming service on top of that, which is going to be the exact same TV that you were getting before.
You get the TV for free, but you got to pay for the internet. Remember when cell phone companies would give you free text messages, but they charged you for minutes? And then they charged you for text messages, and you got free minutes? It's like that. It's like the thing that you don't want is the thing that you get for free.
And you might even be able to get the TV set for free if you will take one of those ad-driven models where you get the inescapable telemetry and ads constantly invading your world. But those TVs are not going to be good enough for this because they're going to be garbage.
Amazon stops certifying monitors. AMD stops certifying monitors and TVs under 144 hertz for FreeSync. So you got to be 144 hertz or better. 240 hertz. Hey, we'll take it. You're going to need DisplayPort 2.0
it's
for
fake.
4K
It's not
120.
real.
There might be one further in the article, maybe.
I was thinking.
Nope.
Remember the big argument? I guess it was like maybe 2014 or thereabouts when the game company was like, "No, 30 frames per second is better because it's cinematic."
We made fun of that then. We will continue to make fun of that. Although there's very little panel technology on the market that has a true 120 hertz or better response time. OLED is the best, and OLED is even faster than 240 hertz, like at a hardware level. But everything else, aspects of it can approach 144 hertz or 200 hertz, but the whole thing is not entirely that fast.
Well, the whole thing of Taiwan is actually not doing that great. They are seeing sales slow down as people stop buying certain electronics. But some companies in particular are doing really, really well.
Taiwan chip powerhouse sees February sales soar on AI demand. It's like, well, we're not making iPhones and computers, but we are going to make things that do AI because AI line go up.
And it's up like 50% year over year. Whereas a lot of the people making the other stuff, not so much. And as we look at our federal deficit and the insanity that's going on with, like, let's say, Social Security and stuff like that, these kinds of headlines should make you so furious that you go and set fire to Teslas. But don't do that.
Tesla paid no federal income taxes while paying executives $2.5 billion over 5 years. The company actually received $1 million in tax refunds. Neat.
Green energy.
Level 1 has paid more at corporate taxes than
We haven't gotten one single subsidy.
Which is just baffling.
Where are our lobbyists to go in there and get us some KVM subsidies? And you might be thinking, well, I certainly won't buy a Tesla because they're horrible, and I hate that. But what car are you going to go to? Because not only are they going to spy on you, but they're going to be in your pocket the whole time you're driving.
Motor1.com, the headline is, the new Audi A3 is a mess with in-car subscriptions. And it has an update with commentary from Audi. But
the update was, you can pay a lump sum when you buy the car and get them all.
No, not all. Some.
Which ones they leave out? I didn't catch that part.
It was like 2 or 3.
Because you got the heated seats and all that kind of stuff. But there was some more basic...
How long before they just lock you from being able to drive at all if you don't pay a subscription?
I mean, we're kind of here, right?
I mean, I can live without a heated seat.
Now, this is only right now in the EU market, which is weird because you would think they would get away with less in the EU market. But maybe they got a lot of lobbying power. They've not said whether the U.S. models will have this or not.
Absolutely, the U.S. models will.
I love how the new business model is people are just walking wallets to help yourself to at any time.
Yeah. Wallets on feet and smartphones on wheels, right? That's where we're at. Apple failed to be a part of that.
Apple reportedly developed a chip equivalent to 4 M2 Ultras for the Apple Car project. This article is worthless because it's like a 2-line rumor from somebody that relocated inside Apple that probably said something they shouldn't have.
Apple will see that article and they're like, I know exactly who that was.
Yeah.
Blab that.
Or their AI will figure it out based on,
writing style
subtle
or something,
clues
yeah.
every time. Now, there's one EV company that seems to have some pretty strong customer loyalty. I guess Tesla kind of does, but I think it's going away, especially now that everybody hates Elon Musk. But this one, they claim that they're surviving where everybody else is dying.
Rivian's CEO talks R2 and R3 launch and why he has complete certainty EVs will win.
For lobbying so hard.
Yeah, Rivians look nice, but also people that own Rivians are very, I like this car better than ABC XYZ. And most of the people that I know that own a Rivian own or used to own a Tesla. And it's like, well, I mean, that was neat when it first launched, but they haven't really improved.
I don't know anybody who owns a Rivian.
I don't know. I might not recognize them, but I don't know if I've ever seen one on the road.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, if you want to talk about low adoption, Apple headsets, right? I don't know too many people that have an Apple headset. Do you know very many people?
I don't know anybody who's gotten one.
So maybe the consumer is not the audience. Maybe they need to chase a different audience.
Surgeons performed the first operation in the UK using Apple's Vision Pro headset.
It just gives you the board game operation, just overlaid on your actual appendix.
So unlike the stock image here makes us believe, you think that's AI generated?
Almost certainly.
It was not a doctor that was wearing it. It was actually a nurse. And this is interesting because, like, you know, you always hear about people. It's like, oh, yeah, I had my appendix taken out. They left a sponge in me and I almost died. So this headset will apparently count the tools and the items used. And at the end, it's like, oh, there's a mismatch. But there is a doctor who has used this, and it was in America, and it's already happened. America #1.
America #1 for medical experimentation.
And experimenting with putting things in space.
SpaceX gets E-band radio waves to boost Starlink broadband. So it's like 71 to 79 gigahertz. It's like space to Earth frequencies and Earth to space frequencies. We've got the laser-based communications and a whole bunch of other exciting SpaceX news. Basically, SpaceX got everything that they want except approval to launch the second round constellation of another 7,200 satellites. Still waiting on that.
And the low orbit.
And the low orbit, yeah.
So this one is a little bit tentative, though. The FCC was kind of like, we're going to let you use it, but if we feel like it's interfering with something, we could pull this back. So more lobbying required. And the epic Apple fight. Remember when we thought that might be over? Oh, it's never going to be over.
Epic Games says that Apple violated the App Store injunction and seeks a contempt order. This is over where Apple pulled their account and then reinstated it, which I think was just a power move by Apple.
Which I probably should have sorted differently.
Apple reinstates the Epic developer account after public backlash for retaliation.
I think Krista updated this on us last week, but I didn't get the story in there, so.
Yeah, we talked about it, but it's still just the whole Epic versus, it's just, the consumer doesn't win when you have billionaires fighting over stuff like that. And we've got a story
Well, we
later.
would if there were a lot of billionaires fighting over it.
These days, when does the consumer win?
And we got a story later about Tim Sweeney also being mad at Gaben.
Some great emails.
Yeah.
If you're a tech CEO these days, aren't you constantly in your mind, like running a subroutine, like these emails could get seized? These emails could get seized.
Oh, you're just going to think like, I need to work on the bunker. They're going to kill me.
You're so wealthy that it just doesn't even
That's
enter
true.
into your mind.
Why does Gaben care?
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Let's not crap on him too much. We do have a negative story, though, about some of the stuff that's going on there. But the EU is doing all these things. Do they work? How can we measure whether or not the EU's new laws are actually doing any good for the consumer? I think this is probably a good one, a good measurement.
Brave, sharp increase in installs after iOS DMA update in the EU. Yeah, so you install your phone and it's got a prompt and it's like, I'm Safari, I'm your default browser from Apple. And you read about it and then you look at Brave and then it's like Brave was made by individuals and not a huge corporation. And the goal is actual privacy. And here's all the stuff that we're doing. And everything else is like, I would like to trade your data in exchange for goods and services. And so, like, which one would you pick?
Well, here you go.
Line go up.
Line went way up. And that's all just because people were given an explicit choice. They're not willing to go out there and figure it out on their own. But if you give them a list to choose from, they will make the right choice in a lot of cases. I do like Brave. And if you are wondering how much Apple is getting from the App Store with that 30%, well, it's a lot, but it's all from the whales.
Most subscription mobile apps don't make any money, a new report shows. Yeah, this has been true of the App Store development. Like, do app development as a hobby or do app development because you're getting paid in some other way. Doing app development to actually earn a living, actually very hard.
And if you don't have millions and millions of install right at the beginning, there's just probably no chance you're ever going to be successful based on these numbers.
Or have an incredible niche.
As someone who never installs apps, yeah, I kind of get it. And I kind of get that I'm almost done with Spotify because they keep adding features that I don't care about and not improving The core music listening part.
Spotify to test full music videos in potential YouTube face-off.
Who wants that?
Apparently somebody.
I mean, music videos were fun back in the day.
I mean, I like music videos, but like, when I'm on Spotify, I'm usually like either I'm working, so I just have that on in the background, and I don't want a distraction, or I'm driving, and I'm not going to be able to watch it anyway.
Yeah. Maybe the TikTok crowd likes it. I don't know. Do you think the TikTok crowd has enough attention span to watch a whole music video?
That is longer than 30 seconds or whatever TikTok says.
And if you are a gamer and you want to be spied upon while you're gaming, here's a good way to do that.
Discord opens up to games and apps embedded in its chat app. Developers can now build new games and apps that are played directly inside the chat app.
So you could do like trivia type stuff.
I do love Letter League in Discord, which is basically just Scrabble.
New York Times is going to come after that.
But for God's sakes, don't build a Wordle clone in there.
And the FOMO right now is cryptocurrency again, right? And Ethereum is looking to make it a little easier.
Dencun upgrade goes live on Ethereum mainnet.
The naming in this thing is so stupid. It's based on one of the guy's names, but it's something like Dank Shards.
What?
Yeah.
Deeply unserious.
That's always one of the things. Whenever I play in Cyberpunk, it's just like, the terminology here, like they got it a little off. It's a little, like the Star Trek vernacular is believable, but it's like, yeah.
Proto-dank sharding. That sounds like something you shouldn't do on public transport.
That sounds like you ate something bad, and then you just destroyed a bathroom.
Listen, guys, I can't make it tonight. I'm proto-dank sharding.
But yeah, you see stuff like this in this article, and it's like, nope, the vernacular in Cyberpunk is completely okay.
Yeah, no one's going to take that seriously.
So the idea here is like instead of posting every little transaction on the blockchain, they have blobs, which I guess can contain smaller transactions. They call them blobs too, to make things easier, I guess. I don't know. Following the crypto world is a little too exhausting. I just hold it and watch it go up.
And hope for the best.
Go up.
I got in so early that it's like if it goes completed zero, I don't care. I'm just having fun here. I'm just happy to. I'm in a room full of people who are partying. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm like, yeah.
All right.
And YouTube, of course, is making the experience worse and worse unless they can monetize you.
YouTube stops recommending videos when signed out of Google. I think Bleeping Computer should have done the headline that Google Chrome has gotten out just downright hostile if you're not logged into Google Chrome. And it's just like, I don't want to be logged into Google Chrome. And it's just like, no, you're going to be logged
Chrome.
in.
I use Chrome for testing, but I don't use it otherwise.
That's why everybody's choosing the Brave option.
Yeah.
And Airbnb still has a party problem, and they have done some really anti-consumer things to deal with it. Now they're going to have to walk that back.
Airbnb is banning indoor security cameras or even outdoor security cameras that can see inside. This is because Airbnb owners have done some very bad things that are indefensible.
Like putting them in the bedrooms and saunas and bathrooms, and the noise monitors to cancel your subscription or your visit or whatever they want to call it.
A friend of mine stayed in Airbnb and they had one of those because it was like trying to monitor parties in the parking lot.
What if I'm just rocking out to music on your sound system that you left? Is that not allowed? I guess they'll get on the camera and see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And we often talk about, like we don't own anything in the digital world. And Steam was kind of the shining example, but Steam doesn't really have control over all that, right? The game publishers do, which means that once again, the things that we thought were locked down and we were going to have indefinitely, not the case.
Warner Brothers is now erasing games as it plans to delist Adult Swim published titles. Indie devs are being told that their games are going to be retired from Steam and console stores. I didn't completely follow what happened here, but Adult Swim apparently offered their IP to indie developers for a revenue share, and now...
No, they were literally just publishing games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you had to use their stuff. But Warner Brothers wants to be out of that business. They point out Warner Brothers is like cutting movies that they were producing. It seems like they're just, line needs to go up as much as it can before this whole thing falls apart. So we'll cut everything that's in development that we're spending money on. One developer said he emailed them and he was like, oh, hey, it takes 4 minutes for you to transfer the ownership to me, and I've already got the Steam account set up because I published my next game myself. Here's a list of steps where you can do that. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. So all the reviews, all the forum posts, everything about the game,
The whole community around it, yeah.
it just goes away. Whereas they could simply just transfer it, but they won't.
That seems extra crappy. That's like Disney levels of crappy.
And the original people still own the IP in most cases and the copyright. So like, I don't think there's any reason for them to hold on to it other than just being nasty. Which is a perfect lead-in, isn't it?
New York Times files copyright takedown against hundreds of Wordle clones. The New York Times should know better. Most of these are okay under the law, but
you can't copyright a game mechanic, right? Traditionally.
Yeah, and it's not hugely unique. I mean,
there was also all the Milton Bradley mechanics from the early, like you could copyright Monopoly, and like you could have a Monopoly. You couldn't make a Monopoly board that had Park Place and Boardwalk and railroads, but you could make something that mechanically was the same.
But you could make one that had blue squares and red squares,
Yeah.
right? But here they're saying green square to show you correct versus incorrect is part of their intellectual property.
That
that's
seems
a
unlikely.
bold claim to say that something
Like-
that is good being green is.
Think about prior art for that. There's got to be 10 billion examples, right?
Oh, just in design. Like whenever something like if a form validates, you're usually going to get a green pop-up. If it doesn't validate, it's going to be red. Like
There was an episode of Sliders where they slid to a world where red meant go and green meant stop. Maybe that's where the New York
Dude, that's
Times
just a-
people are from.
it's
You
just
know
a
what?
basic design pattern.
As a kid, I was always really like viscerally upset because in Star Wars, red saber was bad guy, green and blue sabers were good guys. But in G.I. Joe, they switched it around. The good guys were shooting red lasers. I just couldn't get into it.
Doesn't make any sense.
But there's one guy who he forked his Wordle clone before the New York Times bought it, and his is a multiplayer head-to-head Wordle clone. And he's like, "This is going to destroy me, but what do? Do you fight the New York Times?" And Epic at this point is at war with everyone.
Yeah.
And this is not one that I think they will win because, Steam is so ubiquitous and still beloved.
You should check out the Ars Technica story. Court docs reveal Epic's CEO anger at Steam's 30% fees. So this is from Tim Sweeney to Gabe and also their CFO. Gabe did not reply to the email, but he was mad and there was some colorful language. And the CFO from Valve replied, "You mad, bro?"
That was the only thing he replied. I think he was mad. And all of you should be mad about this. I don't even use these products, and I'm still mad, but there's nothing we can do about it.
How Nintendo's destruction of the Yuzu emulator is rocking the emulator world. So one thing that none of these articles really touch on is like, there's a bunch of open source clones of because Yuzu was open source, you could fork it and do your own. The problem is that now Nintendo owns the copyright to the code, and that doesn't retroactively make it not open source. But the argument that Nintendo could have before a judge is, well, look, the people that originally wrote this have conceded in the lawsuit. This is not something that is legal to exist. We want to shut it down. And then all other emulators that are based on this source code have kind of an uphill battle, and that's a problem.
But not even that particular source code. I thought there was a bulleted list. Something I read had a bulleted
There
list.
is.
but-
Look.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Go
It's-
down a little more.
This article is about all of
Well,
the
no.
other kinds of emulators, like Nintendo 3DS and DS and older stuff, and like all other emulation projects are kind of scared and running for the hills because Yuzu.
Everybody's just giving up because what are you going to do? You're going to fight Nintendo?
Wendell, you sent us this article and put like LOLOL, and I was like, this is not LOLOL.
I did not laugh.
I did not even a little. I didn't even chuckle.
I made an exasperated sound.
We covered this. Okay, so the Verge headline is Microsoft is stuffing pop-up ads into Google Chrome on Windows again. We covered this the first time it happened. Level 1 predicts this was not a mistake. Microsoft said, this is a mistake. This is early access. No, this is general access. Exactly the same feature with no changes. We're rolling right back out again.
These pop-ups just came in. I don't know where they came from.
I don't remember specifically talking about that, but I bet we estimated the amount of time it would take.
Yeah.
And I think this would happen probably faster than we would have estimated.
Yeah. So Windows is like, yo, you're using Chrome. You should add this Bing extension to Chrome that takes over everything. And it's just, you know what I want, Microsoft? I would like to be able to customize the start menu to not search the web. How hard is that?
I would also like to stop being spied upon, but it seems like our future is just a never-ending, just drudge. You're going to get in your car, it's going to spy on you. All the traffic lights and the cameras everywhere are going to spy on you. You're going to get to work, you're going to log in at work, guess what?
Modern workplace tech linked to lower employee well-being, study finds. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing more amazing than when you're trying to get something done the right way and you have 20 people harassing you to do it like the wrong, dumbest way possible.
I'm picking up what you're putting down right now because that was basically a full day yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
They looked at a variety of things that are being done here. They were all awful in terms of like actual employee productivity and happiness, except for they liked having instant messaging.
Well, you kind of need that sometimes if you need to like shoot over a question or something.
And Google built an amazing building, and you can tell that they really wanted to make it like impressive and epic, but they did not consider one critical aspect of this building.
Google's newest office has AI designers toiling in a Wi-Fi desert. I was expecting it to be, we're working on AI in this building. There is no outside network access for security reasons. Nope, just poor planning.
It's the roof, apparently. The roof is built in such a way and of such materials that Wi-Fi signals go there and they never come back.
Neat.
Their solution, plug all your laptops directly in, which I'd be fine with, go across the street and work outdoors, or use your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Fabulous.
Hope they're paying for that.
I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Is it Mnuchin?
Mnuchin.
I've only ever seen it in print. He was, he was big in the news there for a while, but he's not anymore. And now he's, I guess, looking to get back there. But he's not alone here. There's a lot of people looking for this.
Former Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is putting together an investor group to buy TikTok. We should do a really bad clone of the movie Ocean's 11, but with a bunch of these people that have no idea how technology works. And also, let's bring in the what was it, Tim Sweeney? No, it wasn't Tim Sweeney. Who was the guy? The other guy, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah,
right. He was the other guy that was looking
previous
to buy.
Blizzard guy.
Yeah,
not the only other guy. He was one of a triumvirate.
Twitch rival Rumble wants to acquire TikTok amid U.S. ban threats. Yeah, TikTok is just a license to print money because the creators on there certainly don't make anything.
Hey.
Ex-Activision boss Bobby Kotick reportedly interested in buying TikTok as well. May join forces with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
No. That's like when Skeletor and Hordak got together to fight He-Man.
Yes, I know that reference.
And we talked a lot about, these companies or these governments who are telling us it's like, hey, we have to ban all these things because certain activity is happening and we need to control that entirely. But it turns out that the people who are doing these activities, and a lot of times they're not that careful. They'll just use the off-the-shelf stuff. You don't have to encrypt everything. They're like, yeah, we'll just do it where everybody can see.
How Facebook Messenger and Meta Pay are used to buy very illegal digital material.
So they used Meta Pay to do that. And the Meta Messenger to set it all up. And Meta to transfer the files. And Reddit. Oh, the IPO is coming up. And guess what Reddit doesn't do? It doesn't make money. And they are looking to fix that in the worst possible ways.
The Verge headline is marketers are about to infiltrate your favorite subreddits. I really love the terminology from Reddit, which was like brand beacon or like brand awareness or something like that, where when you're talking about Mr. Clean or Scrub Daddy or something on on a subreddit,
The sponge.
there's going to be an alert that goes off on a marketer's dashboard somewhere where they can jump in
And a bot will reply to, oh, no.
yeah, shape the conversation.
That dollar store trip is really stuck in your mind,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dollar General that's like a pocket dimension.
But so that's one way that they're doing it. They're giving the marketers a dashboard to watch everything. AI is going to monitor it all, and they're going to be like, oh, hey, they mentioned your product. And then that's going to lead to this kind of horror.
Reddit's new paid ad looks exactly like user posts. Did someone say Scrub Daddy? I've got an opinion on Scrub Daddy.
That's I've noticed. So like if you browse like on mobile, if you browse the front page not logged in, you'll get those posts, and it's very easy to click on them, which is annoying.
And there's nothing to indicate that that's an ad, and you might participate not knowing that you're actually participating in marketing.
I do love it though, because a lot of times people downvote them.
Yeah.
And will comment, "This is an ad."
What an unironic name, Scrub Daddy Bot 420. Tell me some facts about the Roman Empire.
I mean, they kind of. It'll probably get way worse, but like Reddit has always had brand people showing up in threads.
For sure.
If you know how to identify them.
Every social media has had that.
What was the Woody Harrelson movie? There was a Woody Harrelson, like, it was very badly handled because everybody in the subreddit wanted to talk to Woody Harrelson about not the movie. And then he would always reply with something like, "Oh yeah, my kitchen sponge of choice is definitely Scrub Daddy, but let me tell you about my movie."
Well, I say that every online platform has all these marketers, but actually there's one that a lot of marketers have abandoned. And it's maybe because of the petulance of this man, probably for other reasons as well. But he doesn't make any secrets. If you make him mad, he will simply turn on you.
Musk abruptly cancels the Don Lemon show on X after he sits for the program's first interview. Amazing.
Now, Don Lemon is the worst kind of broadcaster. I can understand why you would be angry with him. And he did keep steering the interview back to hate speech, which it's like, you're just
But
trying
wouldn't
to...
you know that going in? Like, why would you agree to the interview if you
I think if you're Elon Musk, you expect him to kowtow to you, right? Because everybody else does.
Yeah, I guess if you're surrounded by people like that, you don't ever expect pushback.
I think that Elon Musk was expecting Joe Rogan and did not get that.
But Elon Musk did say, "Hey, bro, keep posting on X. That's fine. I'm fine with it. You get to keep your account, but I'm just not going to pay you, basically, if you're going to talk crap about me." And this is maybe the horror story of the week. There's a lot of darkness here, but again, because this is Washington Post, I feel like there might be a little bit of CIA.
That guy's CIA.
Putting everything in here. It's like, oh, this is why we need those laws that we talked about in the previous episode, because otherwise we'll get this horror.
On popular online platforms, predatory groups are looking for children that have issues. And this is a very disturbing story. This is the one we were talking about in the first episode this week that reads a little bit like propaganda.
But I assume these are true, right? And so this is kind of like what the FBI does, right? They find somebody who's maybe a little mentally aberrant, and then they convince them to do horrible things. Except in the FBI's case, they step in right before the bomb is delivered, right? And they're like, "Oh, look what we did. We stopped a bomber." These are just random, horrible people, and they let these acts actually happen. The girl in question, they convinced her to send them some nudes, use that as leverage. They made her drink out of a toilet, and the one that really got me, they made her kill her hamster.
Yeah. It's very sad.
The mother of that kid said, this was on Discord, she said, "Discord has a responsibility to make a safe space for these children." What about your responsibility as a mother?
Wouldn't you look at what your kid's posting online?
I
My
think
mom always kept a pretty close tab on what was going on our computer.
I think the failure starts with you. I think the day after the hamster died, you should have had a lot of questions. But you should read that article. It's horrible. And this kind of thing, again, is so that they can confirm that, yes, we must spy on everything that you do. Otherwise, everybody's hamster is going to be dead.
U.S. government report reveals how Discord, Roblox, Reddit, and others cooperate with the FBI and Homeland Security over content like user-generated recreations of mass shootings. We should stop spending all the money on this and just put all the budget into hunting down all of the people from the previous story.
Yeah. I mean, if we can find Teixeira, we can find those people, right? Why are we not making that the highest priority?
You know what story I can't get out of my head that I remember from like 5 or 6 years ago is the girl who killed her hamster before getting on the plane?
Oh my,
Oh, yeah.
Pebbles.
Pebbles
Yeah.
was the name of the hamster.
That was so horrible.
I just thought of that and I was like, wow.
How she described how she was crying when she put it in the airport toilet. But Pebbles was okay to fly. It was like one woman that was
Yeah.
giving her bad information, right? I think the
I
younger
feel like I would just sneak it in.
the younger
It's a
generation,
hamster.
it seems like they are so afraid of certain consequences that they'll do anything to prevent that, right?
Yeah.
To prevent conflict.
If the environment has become that they are so compliant that they're willing to do that, that's not good because at some point society needs to push back against unreasonableness.
Yeah.
And the unreasonableness was far before that line.
I don't want my nudes to be out there. That would be embarrassing. But if it came between my nudes being out there and my cats, the cats are gonna live. I mean, come on.
Well, and, can you really trust someone who has gotten hold of your nudes?
Yeah.
Like you could kill your cats and they're like, oh, never mind.
And in fact, they did keep doing it. And
Yeah.
that's also the Chris Chan story, right?
Yeah.
All of that horribleness came from a group of people who were manipulating a person who was severely, severely screwed up.
The best option is usually just to ignore, which sucks, but I mean, you encourage it if
But
you're
these
not careful.
kids, their whole life is based around social media. So
Yeah.
I think they feel like, oh God, if I lose this, I lose everything.
Yeah.
But it's not true. You can actually go outside.
Or just join a different Discord server.
Maybe that's not the solution. That's like saying, oh, you're addicted to heroin? Try fentanyl.
What's the worst that could happen?
Join a new Discord server with more people that understand that perspective and build an army to go after the other people.
Start a support group
Flame
Discord.
war.
A reluctant hamster murderer support group.
There's at least 2 members. Anyway, that's it for this story, this day, whatever. We'll be here Friday. Bye!